The marks you receive in an exam depend 50% on your preparation and 50% on how you write the answers on the exam day. And in today's video, I will be discussing a few of my test papers and we will see how I received the marks that I got by writing the answers in the right way. At this moment, I do not really have the board papers, but I do have a few test papers over the years which I've collected at home and I thankfully found them. And these almost have near perfection marks, so I'll be discussing how I wrote each of the answers. Before moving into specifics, let's talk about a few general tips which I used to make my answer sheet look presentable. The number one thing is obviously writing with a neat handwriting. I don't think this is neat enough, but my board papers are pretty neat. And the second thing is leaving lines before every answer or each paragraph. So number 3 is underlining important points. Now underlining important points is very, very important, and we're going to get to know why it is so important in the next few minutes. Now let's talk about one markers. One markers usually include tiny details from NCERT. That means you have to read NCERT line by line for the exams in order to crack these one markers. And they include usually one-word answers or definitions. So when we talk about definitions or questions like these, then it's important that you write full sentences and then underline each word so that the examiner knows that you're clear about what your answer is, and he gives you the marks. It's very easy to score in one markers if you know the right answer, so I wouldn't elaborate much on these. Now about two markers. This is the average length of a 2-marker answer, and now if you see, I have underlined several words, and for 2 markers it's important that you at least underline 2 complete points or 4 semi-points. Now complete points include a complete answer, and semi-point just include parts of the answer. So when you underline 2 complete points, then you get 2 marks, and if you underline 4 semi-points, you get half, and you get 2 marks. There is nothing called writing more than required. You can write how much ever you can write whatever information you can, but make sure you don't consume too much of their attention and space when it comes to small markers like 1 and 2 markers. So what I try to do when they ask a definition for a 2-marker is writing the definition, writing an application of it or an example of it, and getting my 2 marks. So definitions are considered as one whole mark, but when they're given as 2 or 3 markers, then you're supposed to elaborate a lot on them. Now the second thing is, if they ask a diagram for a 2-marker question, then do not just draw the diagram and leave it there. It is important that you write at least 1 or 2 lines below the diagram, because you have a chance of losing half a mark if you just draw the diagram. Alright, so this is an example of it. Now this is an example of an average 3-marker question. So in 3 markers, if you feel that your answer is lacking something and it does not deserve 3 marks, then feel free to draw a diagram, because diagram always carries marks and it looks very, very neat. And secondly, in 3-marker questions, you have to at least underline 6 main points. And now underlining cannot be random. You can't just underline random words like and, for, or those connecting words. It's important that the words you underline have a lot of relevance to your answer and the question. It is important that the words you underline are keywords, are words which are directly from NCERT. And to achieve these kind of words, it's important that you reread NCERT again and again and again. Now this is another kind of question. You might look at this and feel like, अरे यार इसको 3 mark कैसे मिलेंगे? But just look at the answer properly. You can realize that the answer has a lot of content. Though it looks small and looks like it doesn't deserve 3 marks, this answer can explain to the teacher exactly what is happening in the question. So though I've given you an average length of an answer, it doesn't mean that you weigh the length of an answer over the content. It's very important to have a lot of content in your answer, and the crisper it is, the easier the teacher finds it to correct it. And there you go. The importance of underlining and drawing diagrams comes into picture here, because teachers do not have the attention span to read through long answers, so they end up reducing your marks if they don't find much of content and just long paragraphs. Instead, when you underline points and when you draw a diagram, the teacher knows that you know the stuff, that you know the important points, and you know what you're writing. And if you see, most of my answers, I just draw diagrams wherever I can. It gives a great impression on teachers. If you're not really good at time management, it's not a compulsion to draw the diagrams, but since I had a lot of time left after the exam, I made sure I drew diagrams wherever I could. And now this is the average length of my 5-marker answers. If you look at the answers clearly, you can notice that I've underlined several points. I've written down everything I know from that topic, because 5 markers are heavy. It is important that you put in a lot of content there, because it's very easy for teachers to just give you a 4.5 if they're not really satisfied with your answer. So the key to 5 markers is write whatever you know, draw diagrams wherever you can, and underline as many points as you can. So in 5-marker questions, content is the king. For example, look at this question. In this, they've just asked you to mention the 5 processes involved in DNA fingerprinting, and you know that these 5 processes are mentioned as just 5 single points in NCERT. But you're not going to get 5 marks just by writing these 5 points. It is important that you give a bit of background when it's a 5-marker question. So what I did is I wrote whatever I could remember under the topic DNA fingerprinting up till the point where they talk about the 5 important points, 5 important processes in DNA fingerprinting. But don't be mistaken, there can be several questions which just have like 1 or 2 points mentioned in NCERT, and you might feel that is not enough for the answer, but trust me, if a lot is not mentioned in the book about those 2 points, then you just have to write those 2 points. You do not have to write anything extra. For example, this 2-marker question, I thought I would get 1 mark for this because I just wrote 1 line, but turns out I did not, because that is it that is mentioned in NCERT. I underlined 2 points and I got 2 points. There is another kind of very important 5-marker which I write in a particular way, which my teacher told me that she personally loves. That is experiment questions. So in certain 5 markers and 3 markers, they ask you to elaborate upon experiments. And in that point, what I do is write it as an experiment itself. So you just write the title, you write the process, the procedure, the observations, the inference, and the diagram. And I've given 2 examples of how I've done that in a few questions. So now let's talk about differentiating questions. Now in differentiating questions, the marking scheme is important and you have to keep it in your mind. That is because many students think that each point is equal to 1 mark, but that is wrong. Each point under both the sections totally equals 1 mark. So for example, here I have a differentiate between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. So the first point I wrote was it takes place in the testis, and for oogenesis it takes place in the ovary. Now both of these points together constitute 1 mark. And hence, since this is a 3-marker question, I tried to write 3 differences. Now there might be some questions where you might want more than 1 difference, or you can't really think of more than 1 difference for this. That's when you have to think out of the box. For example, in this question, there is literally no person who would have thought that we can also write about polar bodies, or we can also write about the number of sperms produced or number of ovums produced. But that is what out of the box thinking is. You're supposed to think out of the box and get these points out of nowhere and write them down. It might be a bit hard in the exam atmosphere, but trust me, once you start thinking about each and every question in this way, you can think of n number of points that you can write in differentiate questions or for that matter for any answer. And if you're only able to think about one difference, then feel free to go for an example, because examples honestly carry a lot of marks. To sum up, it's important that you know how many marks each kind of question carries, because once you look at the question, you're supposed to realize कि अगर मैं इतना answer लिखूंगा, then I'm going to get these many marks. And that will only come out of practice and when you keep getting your papers checked by your teachers. Number 2 is the importance of underlining sentences and drawing diagrams wherever you can, because they fetch you a lot of marks. Diagrams, underlining and examples fetch you marks. Number 3 is not just reading NCERT but understanding it. That is because there are going to be many questions where you have to think out of the box and where you have to apply your previous knowledge, and for that बस रट्टा मारना काम नहीं करेगा. And number 4 is maintaining neatness as well as managing time in your exams so that you don't lag behind, and this only and only comes with practicing more and more papers and getting them checked. This was a very experimental video, so I hope you liked it, and if you did, please do mention it, because I'll definitely come up with the same kind of videos for other subjects too, like physics, chemistry, maths and English too. So thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.